Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to my YouTube channel, Comic Blast. Today we're going to go over a Batman rogues, who's either liked or disliked, depending on your taste, that is. Today we're going to go over Killer Moth, who goes by two names, Cameron Van Clear or Drury Walker. But that depends on which name you prefer. Many people like him, many people dislike him due to maybe his costume or his gimmicks. But there's a reason why I'm making this video today, just to give him the spotlight, give him the praise that he didn't have. As you could remember that he was supposed to be in the Batgirl movie that was cancelled.
And to really think about it, he's not only just a Batman villain, he's also a Batgirl villain as well. Given that Batgirl first appeared, not fighting anyone else but Killer Moth. So this is like going down memory lane between Batgirl and also Killer Moth, with how it all started for her, and also how much Killer Moth was a challenge to her. Yeah, a flying moth. Whoopie-doo. And so, one way or another, this would lead me to want to do the top 10 Killer Moth stories, as this was a suggestion by someone, and you know what? I don't regret doing this suggestion, but I will admit at first I didn't like Killer Moth whatsoever. But now, I have certain thoughts about Killer Moth. I find him to be very sympathetic, very creepy at times. Yeah, creepy, dark at times, and also comedic. He's all three of these, and it works very well for Killer Moth. And so, just by proving how much it works, that's why I'm doing the top 10 stories. I'm hoping that it will justify to see that Killer Moth isn't just a loser character, but in other ways, he's just a character who can relate to us. Have you ever felt like you wanted to be something more, but you keep on failing at it, but you just want to try again, and yet no matter how much you try, you just fail at it?
Well, that's Killer Moth. I mean, he's just Batman, but the opposite. And yet, unlike Batman, he's the opposite in a certain way where he fails at everything he does. Yet he just does not want to give up. He wants to be that villain where the criminal empire can, go up to him for help. That can look at him, the Batman to them.
And so, just to show you, just to prove to you what Killer Moth really is, what potential he holds, let's go through these top 10 stories. But remember, this list is just my opinion, and you have yours. Coming at number 10 is Batman Giant Family Issue 10. Those were the bad old days. Writer is Bob Rosowski, and artists are Bob Brown and Vince Calatia.
In this known story, Batgirl unknowingly teams up with Batwoman to stop Killer Moth and Cavalier from their gimmicks, their crime. The story starts with Batgirl stopping Cavalier from a purse snatching from an old woman. How dare he?
And like that, Killer Moth just comes to rescue the day, breaking his friend out of prison with a big giant bug ride. And what even makes it more strange is Cavalier turning into a giant, capturing Batgirl and Batwoman. They have no clue what's going on, as Cavalier and Killer Moth just run off to freedom. Prison Break, victory as well. Now, even though I put it at my number 10, doesn't mean it's a bad story. Yeah, it was strange, and yeah, it was goofy, and I didn't say much about the story because I didn't want to make many spoilers. So you'll just have to read it for yourself to see what's really going on, as there are certain plot twists around here, in a goofy, strange way, but that's good nonetheless. And coming at my number 9 is Green Arrow, issue 25, The Prodigal. Writer is Jeff Lemire, and artist is Arena Saratino, if that's how you pronounce it anyways. I'm not really good at pronunciations, so don't get mad at me. You may be thinking to yourself, wait, Killer Moth, he was in the Green Arrow story? I didn't know that. You may be knowing that, you may not, but you know now if you didn't. The thing is with Killer Moth in this story is he bombs a place, he tries to take someone as hostage, and it's not just any ordinary place, it's not just any ordinary person he's taking as hostage. He's trying to take hostage of Oliver Queen's mom, who happens to be in Gotham City. Now, as he's doing all of this, he thinks he's going to get away with it. In fact, he does almost get away with it if it wasn't to Batman being involved. If Batman can really stop him. But he didn't, did he? Or he did. While that's all happening between Batman and Killer Moth, Oliver Queen goes through the sewers, knowing his mom's in danger because he knows how dangerous Gotham City is. Good thing he didn't meet up with Killer Croc. So really, the reason why I put this at my number 9 instead of number 10 is because I actually like the motivation of what Killer Moth was doing. It was actually pretty creepy. This would actually lead him to acting like a serious villain, a bigger threat. Even though he's not, he, at this moment, was treated like a serious villain. Even if it's for a short time in one issue, it was still great. But however,
I have one problem. They tried to make Killer Moth serious and creepy. Yeah, he did look creepy and he looked serious, but he was also downgraded. Where's his wings? Where's his tech? Where's the opposite Batman? This isn't the Killer Moth I know and love, so I didn't really like this one as much.
coming at my number 8 is Detective Comics issue 486, Crime Calls Killer Moth. Writer is Jack C. Harris, and the artists are Don Heck and Joe Gallia. In this story, Killer Moth is pretty sinister, as for a story unlike the others, Killer Moth actually commits murder. Murder for his own personal reasons, actually. Now, this kid is actually the son of the victim that was murdered by Killer Moth. However, he doesn't know that Killer Moth killed his father. He's looking for the killer. He wants justice. So he goes up to Barbara Gordon, not knowing that Barbara Gordon is also Batgirl. So yeah, she's going to bring justice to him. However, the problem is he doesn't know anyone else in Washington, D.C. besides her. Now, the reason why Killer Moth killed this kid's father is because, well, he made the tech for Killer Moth, by force, that is, and he already knew too much, so he had to die. I have to say, I didn't even know that Killer Moth had the heart back then to even kill someone. I mean, in stories nowadays, he is too weak to really kill anyone, that is. All he wants to do is just scare people. He doesn't actually want to put a bullet through their head or their chest or anything. But this Killer Moth, he was actually sinister. He was actually taken seriously by his writers and artists. And I kind of wish they would actually keep on doing this. That you should never judge the book by its cover.
Coming down at number 7 is Detective Comics issue 359, the $1 million debut of Batgirl. Writer is Gardner Fox, and artist is Carmine Infantonio. Well, this is how it all started for Batgirl. How she became Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. How she actually fought the first villain, and no other, the first villain is Killer Moth. Well, this was going to be a simple night. She was going to dress up for a costume party as Batgirl, but then she encountered two Killer Moths kidnapping Bruce Wayne in his car. She chases down to the scene to save the day, and Batman comes in as she tries to take down these Killer Moths. The real Killer Moth comes in and flies away, to which Batman is not very happy about this as she screws up. While she's in the library, she thinks of a way to make things right, to actually get along with Batman and Robin. In this one, she actually wants to team up with the two, unlike the other story that I will mention later on. And as this is going on, Killer Moth takes his men and tells them to kill Bruce Wayne. After all, they failed to kidnap him. Well, that happens. Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, sees Killer Moth pointing a gun at Bruce Wayne, and at this time, she thinks she failed at saving the day. Well, this isn't like the Killer Moth we know nowadays, isn't it? Instead of scaring people into thinking he wants someone dead. He's actually serious. And not him just doing it by himself. He has men working for him. If he wants something done, he will get it done. And if it's to kill a certain wealthy man named Bruce Wayne, well, so be it. He's not just a person that does it for the scare. He's serious about it.
At number 6 is Batman Family Giant issue 15. Writer is Bob Brzezinski, and artist is Lee Alias and Joe Gallia. In this little story, Batgirl and Robin team up with each other, as well as Killer Moth and Cavalier, right? Well, not exactly, as Killer Moth and Cavalier have a little argument. Who knows Batman more? Killer Moth believes it's Batgirl, but Cavalier believes it's Robin. And so the two put their theory to the test. As this all happens, Batgirl comes around to see two policemen stuck in a cocoon trap, which, as they explain, it's all by Killer Moth before he runs off. Batgirl goes to chase him down, but as she tends to come back, the policeman warn her that her motorcycle has been tapped with. Using her batarang to use the handle, the bike would explode and then poof, gone. But that wouldn't stop her, as she then chases Killer Moth down to the stadium only to be trapped in a sticky situation. As the lights shine, it would melt her down, but it's too late as she comes to save the day, and Killer Moth finds the Batcave. He finds the Batcave, and he believes he will know the identity. No, not just the identity, but also the secrets of the Batman himself.
Giving my opinion to the story, it's an alright story. I do think the plot that he did of exploding the motorcycle to attempt to, I don't know, kill Batgirl was very sinister for Killer Moth. And in the past, that's how Killer Moth was, very sinister. Coming right at my number 5 is Detective Comics issue 173, which is known as The Batman's Double, created by Bob Kane and Lou Sayre Schwartz. Mr. Rose was right, no one else took credit but Bob Kane. So yeah, as mentioned, Mr. Rogues did say in his top 5 best stories, there was a story that where Bob Kane only took credit of. I think this is a story, I may not be right about that one, but this is one of the stories where the writer wasn't even mentioned. I tried to find the credit for it. However, the story starts where Killer Moth's identity is revealed in front of Batman and Robin as Cameron Van Clare. It's all ruined. He can't be Killer Moth anymore if they know his secret identity. The reason is being the opposite Batman. So he takes on a new identity, to be a new millionaire, go through surgery, and who does he pick? None other than Bruce Wayne. But as he picks the identity to look at Bruce Wayne, he doesn't know that Bruce Wayne is Batman as well, not until Dick Grayson, who is Robin at the time, reveals the Batcave, and so he finds out the secret identity of Batman. And with everything accidentally in place, he decides to take the coal, he decides to fake as Batman, he decides to fool Robin. To me, this is actually a decent story. I mean, the first villain to ever actually find out who Batman is by accident due to the sidekick and decides, alright, I'm going to play along with it, is actually pure genius. And with all due respect, it remains at my number 5. Coming at my number 4 is Batman issue 63 and 64, which is the origin of Killer Moth as well as the return of Killer Moth. Writer is Bill Finger, and the artist is once again Bob Kane and Lou Sayre Schwartz. Well, at least the writer took the credit. This is where it all started for Killer Moth. His first appearance and his second appearance. This is where the opposite Batman was really born. In fact, he came way before Prometheus. I believe it inspired Prometheus. Oh, there was a man in his prison cell, looking at the news, reading the book, maybe, all inspired by Batman. And then a thought came to him. He could help the criminals, just like Batman helped the citizens stopping criminals. So he became Killer Moth, making two identities, in fact, as a rich man named Cameron Van Clear, having a Mothmobile and moth gimmicks and a moth cape. He had a whole audience, and as he went out there to fight Batman, the challenge would only begin between the two. Well, it was soon in, as Killer Moth was washed up, dead for say, drowning in the ocean. But little to anybody's notice, he wasn't really dead, but his criminal activity went down the drain, as the criminals knew he was defeated by Batman. But he had a new idea, still an artifact, a moth artifact, the greatest plan he will ever have, and no one, not even the Batman, will ever notice. So yeah, it was goofy like Mr. Rogues did say, but it was still entertaining. You could see a good battle between the Moth and Batman. This man who's evil, helping crime, while Batman fights crime. He has the same gimmicks, but in a different style. He uses Batman's tech against him for evil reasons. It's a challenge. This is just to show that any type of villain can look at a certain tech of a hero, even Batman's tech, change it up a bit to challenge the hero, and it may cause massive jeopardy against that one hero. At number 3 is Shadow the Bat, issues 7 through 9, The Misfits. It's a 3-part story, of course, and the writer is Alan Grant, but the artist is Tim Sale himself. This story proves a lot that some villains have a breaking point. Villains are done being pushed around, being the loser villain, and the story really proves that one of those villains that are done being pushed around is Killer Moth. He's even willing to kill. He's even willing to go cross the path that he never even passed. He's willing to just cross that line. How so? Well, he kidnaps the mayor. He kidnaps Bruce Wayne. Most importantly, he kidnaps Commissioner Gordon, teaming up with other loser villains. And even if Bruce Wayne tries to smart talk them, even if Commissioner Gordon tries to escape, there's no way of getting out of this. Now, there's a promise to free them if Killer Moth gets a certain type of amount of money. But Killer Moth, thinking he's going to be beaten and defeated anyways, decides, well, they're in the crate locked up. They're going to drown. And at this point, they're freaking out. Now, we all know Bruce Wayne is Batman. But at this point, can even Bruce Wayne, without the Batman costume, save all three of them? This one is so high on my list as number 3 is because I love what Alan Grant and what Tim Sale did for the character Killer Moth. It just shows that as a loser villain, he's just done. He's tired of being kicked and punched around and thrown like a rag doll. All of his plans just go down the drain. But not this one. This one's going to work through. And if he has to kill someone, he will. If he has to break a promise, he will. And you know why he broke his promise? It's because all of his plans in the past failed. He's done being laughed at by a criminal organization. He's done being the laughingstock as Killer Moth. And so he just snapped. Number 2 is Robin, issue 23 and 24, a 2-parter called Buggin' and Insects and Violence. Writer is Chuck Dixon and the artist is Aaron Lapresti. In this story, your Robin is Tim Drake, of course. And Killer Moth in this story isn't your average Killer Moth. In fact, he's no longer Killer Moth. Let me explain. In this story, Killer Moth is done being picked around. He's done being beaten. He's done being mocked. I mean, what can this guy do? His self-esteem is so down. He lost everything. All he does is he tries and fails. But Neuron, Neuron gives him a wish beyond any other wish, that turns Killer Moth into something else. He turns him into this moth monstrosity, Chirax. He's no longer the laughingstock. He's actually something that no one has ever faced in Arkham Asylum, and no one will ever stop. As guards come into Arkham Asylum, they find their flashlights shining on victims cocooned. It's a horrible sight they have never seen, not in the cell of Killer Moth, that is. And oh, even Tim Drake doesn't even take it seriously with Killer Moth, as he enters into the asylum only to wake up in a gooey cocoon at some chapel.
I have to say way to go to Chuck Dixon on this story, and even his artist Aaron. They achieved something that has never been achieved as much. They used a loser villain, made him more serious, made him more terrifying. I mean, this was a story that gave me the chills. A perfect comic book to read during Halloween.
And finally, at my number one, the best of the best, Batgirl Year 1. Writers are Scott Beatty and also Chuck Dixon. Oh, the artist is Marcus Martin. This story shows a lot of the retelling of how it all started for Barbara Gordon, and a more interesting take than her first appearance, for say. Even though she goes to the party in this story, Killer Moth just walks in, and no one takes him seriously. That kind of ticks Killer Moth off, as no one's taking him seriously. So he shoots people with his cocoon gun, and after that he just runs off. Batgirl chases after him. Everything's a mess, as this is her first time. She's very unexperienced, and she doesn't want to prove anything to Batman or Robin. And in this one as well, unlike the other story, Killer Moth teams up with Firefly, a more villainous villain. While Killer Moth, he cannot handle it. He's just there for scares. I mean, all that Killer Moth really wants is just to scare people, not really harm people. So with him just teaming up with Firefly in the story was a lot for him to take in, and I do mean a lot. I could go on and on about how great this story is, how they really improve this Batgirl story, how detailed it was, including Killer Moth, and how much of a mistake Killer Moth had teaming up with Firefly. No doubt he wouldn't be teaming up with Firefly anymore, but it's actually pretty beautiful. It shows what Killer Moth's motives are between Firefly's motives. One is out to kill, one is just out to scare, cause some type of threat, but not kill. And the funny thing is, if you think about it, Killer Moth in this story, he's mentally stable, while Firefly is mentally unstable. And for many other reasons, not to make spoilers, this is why this story is at my number one. So there you have it. That's my top 10 best Killer Moth stories. I hope you guys enjoyed. But also, even though you guys enjoy, I have to admit something. I did not like Killer Moth before doing this video. And after, I have to say, I had second thoughts about him. I thought, wow, he's not really a bad villain. Okay, so there are some goofy stories. So what? There's also the serious ones. I love goofy stories. I love serious stories. It was a balance there. It was great to read. They were entertaining to read. There was nothing boring about it. And that's what I like about it. Killer Moth, even though through his goofy costume and his goofy gimmicks, surprisingly, this villain is worth reading about. It's worth getting the spotlight. It's worth a video being made. And to whoever gave me this suggestion, I thank you. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to like. And if you want to, don't forget to subscribe. And also, I'll accept any suggestion. So yeah, go ahead and comment down below. And as always, the spotlight shuts off now, leading to the next villain that deserves it. This is yours truly, Comet Blast.